This video is going to help you with the creation of the train wheel. First you start by opening up a new part file. I've gone ahead and started a new sketch. Doesn't matter which plane that you choose. I'm currently in my workspace right now. And with the train, we're going to start by drawing this sectional view, this little area that they have cut out, and then we're going to revolve it around this center point. So I'm going to start with this corner that I'm pointing to right now. It's going to start down here. After I make a line going up, doesn't really matter how tall the line is that you make. I'm just going to make a line, and I'm going to use this as my revolve point and my point for dimensioning off of. But I'm going to start in that bottom corner right here. I'm kind of flipping the drawing upside down, and I'm just going to draw the general shape of this. And the measurements aren't going to be correct right now. It's just a general shape of it. The only thing that I'm excluding from this right now are the curved lines here, which are done with a fillet, and this rounded section right here, which is done with a either an arc or a circle. I'm actually doing from here to this line going up and then over. So it looks very similar, but now I'm going to start doing some of the dimensions. The first thing that I'm going to do is dimension this line right here, which is not curved yet, 0.25 away from the center. So from here to here, 0.25. When you do this, it should shrink your drawing down if you made it really big like I did. So I'm going to zoom back in. And then the next line I'm going to dimension is from here to the very end. I could dimension the 0.75 line first, which would be this one. But if I do that, it's probably going to put the line over here past this. And I'm going to have to redimension the lines, or delete these lines and redraw them. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension from here to the edge right here, so this one, and set it to 1. And it brings that line pretty far over there. Next line I'm going to dimension is this one right here. So this internal line right here is at 0.75 away from the center line that we're going to revolve around. And I'll set this one to 0.75. And then we're going to deal with the height. So the overall height from here to here or from here to here can be found by going all the way down and looking at the dimension. It's not the first dimension right here. That's if it was cut in half. We're looking for this final dimension over here. So it is set at 0.25. So our height from here to here should be 0.25. Now your dimension, when you put that in, the line could go down or these lines could go up. Right now my line went down, which is fine. One more line that I need to dimension is this little section right here. They don't really give us the dimension line for this, so we have to kind of do some subtraction. We know from here to here is 0.25, and from here to here is going to be half of that. So we're going to set that to, that's basically going to be 0.125, and then we're going to cut that in half. So we are going to set that at 0.063. Now there's one thing that we need to do before we start rounding the edges. We need to place this in the correct spot. Right now it needs to be at least, or it should be, 0.125 from the top here, and it's currently sitting at 0.073. So we're going to change that to 0.125, and now we have those in the correct spot. We can at this point use the fillet tool and change it to 0.063 because it tells us right here that the radius is 0.063 for these curves and that it's typical, which means it's going to be that way for each one of these curves. So I can hover and click on the corners and it will round them for me. Same thing can be done here. And then this one right here, if it doesn't hover at the corner and you can't see it, you might have to click on each individual line like that. Once that's done, you can close that out. And the last thing that we need to do is create the arc. So now I'm going to make an arc from here to here. And this can also be done with the circle. It doesn't matter. Either way works. So I can set this to 0.125 by bringing the arc out until you see these little symbols up here. Or I can just type 0.125, or I could, like I said, use the circle tool. So 0.125, hit enter. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on this line right here and get rid of it. This one right there. And the drawing's done. Now all I have to do is revolve. So I'm going to go ahead and use the revolve tool. Select it. Choose my axis. And then select right here and hit OK. Now if you get an error for some reason where you can't highlight your profile, go back into your sketch, take your line tool, and go over each one of these straight lines and recreate them, because there's a good chance that one of the lines disconnected and it's very small. You could use this tool, the coincident constraint, to click on the points on the end and the lines themselves and try to connect them, but it could take time. So use the method of just going over the long lines like this and making sure that they're connected. And that should fix that issue if you, for some reason, can't select this when you hit revolve. So I'm going to hit revolve, change the axis, click, and hit OK. The next thing that we're going to do for the wheel is we are going to create the pattern that's on the front. This is really easy and straightforward. Go ahead and start a sketch. You can start on the top, you can start on the back. I'm going to start on the top, and I'm going to create a line right here in the middle that I'm eventually going to delete. I'm using this as my base point because I'm going to be creating some lines at angles of 30 degrees. Or in this case, I've created a line straight, and it's my middle point. So I need to create a line going this way. And I'm going to create another line going this direction. And then I'm going to use the dimension tool to adjust from here to here. And it needs to be at 30 degrees total for this whole thing. So I'm going to set this one at 15. And then I'm going to set this one at 15. Once I've done that, I'm next going to make two circles. And you can't see the circles here, but they've given you a radius, a smaller radius, and a larger radius for the inside circle and the outside circle. So the first one is 0.37 for the radius. We're going to double that, so 0.37 times 2 to get the diameter. That's the bottom portion. And then the second circle is 0.63. I'm sorry, yeah, 0.63 times 2. So 0.63 times 2, and hit enter. And we have a little bit of extra line over here, so I need to use the fillet tool. I'm sorry, not the fillet tool, but the trim tool to get rid of all of this extra stuff, including the extra circle. I have a little piece of extra line right here that I need to get rid of, a little bit right here, and a little bit right here. And then I've got this stuff down here that I can get rid of. Here, here, there, and I'll trim that one in the middle. So I now have this shape that looks like this that I need to duplicate. It goes around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So make sure that you have 6 when you use this next tool. Use the circular pattern tool. You can drag and highlight this, or you can select each line individually. And then we're going to choose right here, not axis, but this point, because we are going to revolve this pattern around this point. And we have it already set to 6, 360 degrees. We're going to hit OK. At this point, you can finish your sketch, hit extrude, set it to cut, and you're done with that portion. So now I have my pattern on there. Only thing left to complete is this right here. The sketch can be started on the front again. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate my image a little bit so that I get a view that's like this, so that I have room to actually place it. And I'm going to go ahead and start a circle. Now this circle that I'm going to make is this one right here. It has a diameter of 0.25, so I'm going to go ahead and just place this circle and give it a diameter of 0.25, hit enter. And then I'm going to use the dimension tool to space this away from the center. And I'm just looking from the center here all the way to the center here, which is 0.7. So I'll place this at 0.7. And it will go inside the wheel a little bit, and that's okay. Hit finish sketch, hit extrude, and we're going to extrude this up. And it's kind of difficult to see how far up it has extruded, but this extrusion is up 0.25. So we're going to extrude this up 0.25 so that it looks like this. And then we're going to start another sketch on top of this one. So start a sketch right here. The diameter for the circle that we're going to be creating right now is 0.125. So we're going to start a circle at 0.125. And we're going to extrude that one up. And that one is extruded up at 0.125. And then we're going to start another sketch on top of that one. And we're going to extrude a hole in this one that is 0.625 or 0.625 down a depth of 0.25. So another circle, 0.0625, and then we can finish and we can extrude this one down. And they're extruded down 0.25. Hit OK. And now you have the hole for that particular object. The wheel is done. You could change the view to realistic if you wanted to see what it would look like without the lines, but it should look like this. If you want to make another wheel with a different pattern on here, you can, but you have to make this wheel first. So go to File, Save As, save this as Train Wheel 1, and once you have saved that, then you can go back and change the pattern, and then File, Save As again, and change it to something different, like Train Wheel 2. So go ahead and do that. If you would like to change the pattern for the wheel, don't go too crazy with it, and then save your work.